everyone, Stephanie here, coffee drinker, book lover, and reviewer of many things. And today I'm going to talk about the book One True Love by um, Taylor Reid. Couldn't remember who it was by because there's another book called One True Love. It's not the same. My coffee is cold. I waited too long to make this video, but I found the box that had all my mugs in it, and I'm so excited that I get to use all my different mugs. Okay, so as you can see, we've started unpacking more stuff. Um, I was so excited. I thought that I finished all of the boxes of kitchen stuff, and then I found more boxes of kitchen stuff. So it's okay. It's fine. My nails are just really porous right now. I know I could have worn gloves, but then I can't feel if the soap is off, and it's a whole thing. That's not why you're here. You're here for the book review because I listened to this one. On I listened to this one on Boundless. This book is not about open relationships. This book is way different than I thought it was going to be. And I'm going to start by telling you that this book on Audible is rated a 4.4, and on Goodreads it is a 4 star. And now I'm going to read a little summary. Apparently now it's going to be a major film, or it is a major film. I haven't seen anything about that, so I don't know. It says, where is the beginning of this? From the bestseller author of The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo comes a breathtaking love story about a woman unexpectedly forced to choose between her husband she has thought long dead and her fiance who has brought her back to life. In her 20s, Emma Blair marries her high school sweetheart Jesse. They build a life for themselves far away from expectations of their parents and the people of their hometown in Massachusetts. They travel the world together. Living life to the fullest and seizing every opportunity for adventure. On their first wedding anniversary, Jesse is on a helicopter over the Pacific when it goes missing. Just like that, Jesse is gone forever. Emma quits her job, moves home in an effort to put her life back together. Years later, now in her 30s, Emma runs into an old friend, Sam, and finds herself falling in love again. When Emma and Sam get engaged, it feels like Emma's second chance at happiness. That is, until Jesse is found. He's alive, and he has been trying all these years to come home to her. With a husband and a fiance, Emma has to now figure out who she is and what she wants while trying to protect all the ones she loves. Who is her one true love? What does it mean to truly love? Emma knows has to listen to her heart. She's just not sure what it's saying. So yeah. This book was pretty interesting. Close that. I enjoyed this book. It is not a book that I would have chosen for myself. That being said, the writing was pretty good. I listened to it, and so sometimes the narrator kind of read things when in my mind it would have been like, "Oh my goodness." you know, but this was an actual person. Like, I've listened to her read before, and she's just that's how she reads. I think it's unless the author comes back and is like, "Hey, put more emphasis on this." That's just how it's read. Um, so yeah, and I looking at the cover, I would not have chosen this, but like I would have been like, nah. I would have kept going. Like, this was not a book for me. But move on to my review. There it is. Okay. So if I remember correctly, I wrote a lot about this. I did. Kept going. Okay, so When True Loves, author Taylor Reid. Its genre is fiction. Listening to it is by Simon and Schuster. Now I can't say it. Schuster. You know. Um, I have recently. I don't know. Like, I already knew this, but my brain has been like blocking it from my memory. And the last book that I reviewed, I had listened to it, and then I went to look up more information about it, and I realized there are different publishers depending on how it's being published. And I was like, I knew that. I knew that. Um, this book was 8 hours and 30. I'm sorry. This book was 8 hours and 53 minutes long. I started it February 3rd and finished it February 5th. And why did I choose this book? It was on my 2025 reading challenge. Not sure why I put it on my TBR though, other than someone I watch on YouTube must have read it and liked it. Um, yeah. So I listen to or I watch on YouTube two different horror book reviewers. One of them is more extreme, and one of them's not like more old school. And then I watch a YouTuber that is a she works at a bookstore or a library or something. Not in the U.S. And so she goes through a bunch of different books, and it's really fun to listen to all those. And then I watch another person who's in a different part of the world, and she doesn't primarily do book videos, but when she does, it's because she really likes the books. And then another person I watch, she'll just randomly like she always makes sure that there's books in the videos she makes, like laying around, so you can pause your video and see if you have those books. Um, it's like a game. Yeah. So that's how I collect my books, and it hasn't done me wrong so far. Like I said, I wouldn't have picked up this book. I would have passed it by. I would have been like, nah, the. Nah. But I gave this book 4 books. Gave this book 4 books. Forgot that everything's backwards for me. Um, I don't know why. Like, I just can't go the extra mile to give it the more stars or more than that. I liked it. It's like I said. I think it's just not something I would have. It just. I don't know. I don't know. Let's just continue. Would I recommend this book? Yeah, I would. I think that this book was great about talking about emotions or figuring out emotions and body positivity, and especially in women. I know from self experience that bodies change throughout the year, and when you hit 30 as a female, your metabolism changes and things shift. And it took I had a baby at 30, and that weight didn't go away. And for the longest time, I was really hard on myself because everyone, and I know this now, pretty much everyone I know that's had a baby had their babies before their 30s when they were still young enough for them to snap back to their kid body. And I didn't snap back. And it really bothered me for the longest time. And now I'm embracing it. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't be wearing clothes from my 20s. I'm in my 30s now. Like, it's time to grow. And this book does a good job at that. Other books by Taylor Reid, and a few of these are actually on my really big, like over 200 books TBR. Husband, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, Maybe in Another Life, After I Do, Forever Interrupted, Atmosphere, Evidence of the Affair, Daisy Jones and the Six, Harry Soto is Back, and Malibu Rising. A few of those are on my big long list. I don't know if I'll ever get to them. There are fuzzies floating around. Oh my goodness. I gotta move into a new house and you think you've cleaned everything, and then you look up and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot to clean the ceiling. Um, Cobwebs up there. Um, anyway, let's continue. Olive is my favorite book. Olive is my favorite person in this book. She really was. She was always there for her friend, Emma, and she kind of had, like, her personality was great. I loved, at any time she was in the scene, I'm like, ooh, what's going to happen next? Um, this book was good. I wasn't sure about the opening of the book at first, but after listening to it a second time, I liked it. Okay, that right there, I never told anyone this, but if I'm going to listen to a book, I listen to it twice through so that I can make sure my thoughts are clear whenever I do these videos. And sometimes I still don't do a good job. Um, I also like that she talks about her body shape and in a no nonsense sort of way. In the flashback, she's like, my body. She's like, when she's a teenager in the flashback, she's like, I didn't get my mom's, shape, and I got this weird hair shape, and she's like, my sister got the perfect body and all of this stuff, and she's kind of down about it, but she's like, but I make it work. Like, she's like, in your 30s, you have to learn to accept yourself for who you are and understand you are supposed to change. I love that Emma doesn't like the bookstore at first, and then she goes exploring the world and then comes back to the bookstore and loves it. Um, that made me happy because, like, she could have been stuck in that bookstore just reading about all the places that she wanted to travel. She could have been like, oh, maybe one day in the future I can go and visit Alaska, and then never visit Alaska because she ended up owning the store. Like, you can't just like pick up and leave whenever you own a place. I mean, you can if you make plans and all that stuff. But anyway, um, I feel like, and this is where people are probably going to come for me. I feel like Sam should have been who she was with from the beginning. They could have grown and changed together. Uh, I feel like Jesse felt like, whoa, how? I feel like Jesse felt like, that's what I wrote. Jesse felt like he didn't want to change even before he died. Also, Jesse and Emma were supposed to be so in love, like, worshipped each other, so in love. Why did he wait 9 years to propose? It really threw me off. Okay, I was like, what? And then I moved on to say grief is hard and everyone handles it differently. and Emma handles it in her own way and she moves past it. I In her situation, I don't know what I would have done. My husband was in the Navy. He went on ships for weeks at a time, and every time that thought, like, what would I do if he doesn't come back, would pop into my head, I would get busy. I would turn on music, the TV, I would distract myself because I never wanted to think about it because it was too trauma. Like, it'd be traumatizing. So I think that's one of the reasons why I didn't like this book as much because it made me start to think, what would I have done? And I don't like thinking about that stuff. The best line in this whole entire book is "Werewolf got her." Um, so when she's been back in town for a while and she runs into Sam, and they end up, after some time, they go on a date and they go to a bar and they, just get drinks and they kind of they just pick up their friendship how it was, like they're, laughing and giggling together. Um, and then they go to dinner because it, if the bar is, it's for drinks. You're not gonna go and get drunk whenever you're meeting up with a friend for the longest, Anyway, and then the place is closing, so they end up going walking, and they end up after a while. She's like, "I'm wearing heels," and she's like, "My feet hurt. I need to sit down." And so they sit down, and she's like, "So I guess I'm a widow." And he's like, "Yeah." And, there's a little talk about that. And then she's like, "So what happened to you? Who broke your heart?" And he goes, "Oh, same old. We were in love for years. And then, you know." And she goes, "Werewolf got her." And Sam just snaps right back and is like, "Yeah, stole her right out of my arms." And I was like, I love that line. It was my favorite. Sam is so patient and understanding. Even understands that Emma has the right to be a little confused. Her husband has been dead for more than 3 years. And of course she moved on. But now he's alive. Um, so that is my review. Okay. So in the beginning, well, before we found out that her husband had died, um, the little family get together that they were having, I was kind of like, what's the point of this? And the point was to be like, everything is copacetic and like down to earth, family dynamics are happening. And then she gets the call from her dead husband, "Hey, I'm alive and I'm coming home." What? What? Um, so it's kind of like a bomb was dropped, and she's just like, and then you go right into a flashback, or just about right into a flashback, um, which kind of threw me off. Which is why I was kind of like, that beginning was a little disjointed. I feel like it might have been able to flow a little bit better, but it was still good. Um, the flashback of when they were in high school, I felt like I was there because it felt like the time that I was in high school. The clothes, there was a line. It was like, um, about our. I can't believe we thought it was okay just to walk around with our belly buttons out, uh, all the time. I was like, um, might have been one of those people. Or if I didn't have a shirt that showed my belly button, I had the low rise jeans, which they talk about those also. Um, I like how the relationship between her and her sister was. That was very nice. I like how, because okay, her and her sister in high school, they butt heads a lot. And they were not friends, but they were close, close in age. And so her big sister Marie was like, kind of like drug her around with her when she had to because parents said to, and tried to get her in trouble. And Emma played right into it at one time and said a cuss word towards Marie, calling her a name, and her parents punished her by making her work the weekend in the store, um, which is funny because that's the job; they're getting paid for it. Right, and then I like how as they get older, you see Emma start to be like, Marie has things that I want. Like she has the stay in one spot family life, and her when her sister got pregnant, it made her start to think like, oh, am I gonna have kids? Like we can't just like pick up and leave every time a job comes. Because she's a journalist, and so she starts to think about that stuff, and she even brings it up to Jesse a few times before their anniversary. Like, hey, do you ever think about, you know, moving back home to be closer to family? And he's like, the one time that really stands out is the one he's like, that's not the Emma that I know. That's not the, like, that's not who I married. And she's like, yeah, you're right, you're right. Just like blows it off. But I'm like, if that's how you're feeling, you should have told him that. Um, um, so like you saw that she was already starting to change before he left. Before he went to Alaska for his trip to Alaska. Look, he chose to go to Alaska instead of celebrate their anniversary. It was a little off putting to me. I was like it wasn't his job. Like, okay, so yes, they were like journalists. He went and took pictures for for magazines and stuff like that, and she wrote for magazines and stuff like that. And the person that he used to work for was like, "Hey, we're gonna be doing this. Do you want to come with us? You know, he would still get paid, but do you want to come do And he was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." It was like, have to take this job. Anyway, um, things would have been so much different. Anyway, and then her relationship with her sister grows because after Jesse disappears, dies, whatever you want to say, um, her she has a moment, not a suicidal moment, but at the same time, it might have looked like that because she climbed up to the roof and was standing up there for a while and then went down, found some binoculars, and was searching the coastline, the little piece that she could see from her roof. Because it doesn't sound like they lived like right next to the water. And she could hear everyone panic looking for her, but she never responded. And then her sister, who was pregnant, climbed up the ladder climbed up the ladder and was like, had to be the one to make the heart, like, because mom and dad couldn't have done it. It would have, I understand. I understand. Mom and dad couldn't have been like, he's dead, he's never coming back. Because that would have been like a real slap in the face. Like, that, if Emma holds a grudge with whoever says that, you don't want it to be apparent. Um, so for Marie knows, she's like, I have to be the one to do this. And so when Marie is like, he's gone, he's dead, and Emma's like, no, they said he's gonna come home to me. I was like, oh my gosh, oh, that's so sad. Like I feel heartbroken for her. And then after Marie is like tough love her, um, in her sadness and in her like upset rage, depression, whatever you want to call it, Emma snaps back and is like, "You never wanted anything good for me," and like blows up at Marie about all the stuff that she felt in high school towards Marie. Not even how she felt now. Like, because you already knew that she was starting to change how she felt towards her sister. She blew up at her. And I was like, oh. But sisters could be like that. I'm sure I've been that way. Sorry, sis. I know you don't watch these. Sorry if I've ever been so mean. Um, she was over here. My sister was over here yesterday. I made her put DVDs in a shelf for me. um. Anyway, so then you see their relationship go even further. Like later, after Emma has moved home and she's living with her parents and she's had her grief and she's starting to move past it and she's starting to be like, okay. And then she finds out that while she's still grieving, she finds out her sister's having twins, and she was like, okay, I need to send something. So she orders some little cute onesies, and you hear her inner monologue is like, I know I should be like something exciting with a bunch of exclamation points, but here's for my nieces. Congratulations. And then you later, after she's moved past her grief, you find out that her sister's kids are going deaf and they're not responding as well. And there's a name for it. I can't remember. They say the name for it in the book. It's a real thing. And so she's like, I gotta be like, she tries to call her, and she's her sister's all like, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, okay, okay. And so she goes to the store, gets Diet Coke, and remembers that her sister's favorite candy bar is, and finds ice cream that is like that candy bar, and takes it to her sister so her sister can just cry with her. Like, it's something that needs to happen. And I love that, you see them move past it together and that they're really there for each other. And then at the end, my favorite is at the end of the book when um, Marie wants to work at the bookstore, and Emma's like, I'd be your boss, not just your manager. And Marie is like, yeah, I need something that's mine. I'm like, girl, I feel you. Um, I understand that. That is the best relationship in this book. Okay, I love the sisterly relationship that it has its at the beginning, and then it grows into something bigger. Where they understand each other. They might not see eye to eye on everything, but they're there for each other. And there's a part where Emma's even like, hey, so I've been thinking of learning a second language, and there's this class for sign language, and she's like, do you want to go with me? Around, after they find out the news about, the daughters not being able to hear. And I was like, that is sweet. It's just the little things, you know. Now on to the men in this relationship. The relationships with the men. I already said that I didn't think that Jesse was the one for her. They had their fun. Okay, I get it. But again, if they were so in love, 9 years. And this isn't like their relationship isn't like it's like a fairy tale relationship. Like when they talk about how everything is with them, like they never argue, they never fight, uh, they never have disagreements, and so like towards the end of their towards the end of their relationship, when before he disappears, dies, and she starts bringing up things how she's feeling, and he's like, "Nah, that's not the Emma that I know," and that's the first time they kind of like disagree, like, and so that's why she just sort of like, "Yeah, you're right. I'm just, my sister's having babies, you know." Like that's the for like really in 9 years? I don't I don't think I've seen any relationship not have any arguments at all. Okay. So but the way their relationship started was like she pined for him for a while and like had a crush on him, hardcore crush, and he had a girlfriend. And then it wasn't until their senior year where they run into each other at a party and the cops are called because they're underage. And he grabs her hand and pulls her into some bushes and they hide. And they end up, I'm not going to tell you the whole thing, but they end up walking for a while until they are caught. They are picked up by the cops anyway. Um, and that's how their relationship started. Um, so I don't know. It just it's weird to me. I Anyway. And Sam was always like when they were friends to begin with, and he was like, "Hey, well, because he drove her to work one day because they were working together, because he worked in the store too, and they had the same shift. And he's like, "I'll give you a ride," and she's like, "Oh, okay." And so on their ride over to the store, when they got in the car, jazz was playing, and she was like, "This," and he's like, "Oh, it's jazz." And then later, he's like, "So what did you think of whoever the jazz player was?" And she's like, Um, I don't think jazz is for me. And he's like, "Whoa, don't throw out all jazz. You might listen to something different that's in the jazz realm, and like, so you just might not like this one." And that comes back around later, by the way, because at the end, oh, it's a spoiler. Anyway, towards the end, she pulls the CD out and puts it in his little CD player in his car. Um, and he's like, "You don't like this," and he's like, "But you do." When Jesse comes back, his parents are kind of rude to him, and like they've got to understand that she's changed and grown, and he's been dead for 3 years. So of course she moved on with her life, but um before they go in, mom is like, "We didn't tell him that you've moved on so soon," or like something. It's just really like a poke you with a fork moment, kind of like. And Emma's like, "You don't have to make me feel bad. I feel bad all on my own." I was like, she would feel bad, but she shouldn't need to. And then I thought it was weird. I mean, I guess it makes sense. Sam is like, look, I need you to find out if you want to be with him still or if you are going to be with me before we get married. Because I don't want to go through all of that. And so he he kicks her out of their house. And she goes back home and for a few days, I guess, to figure out her feelings. And it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, and she goes in through the back door, writes a note, and leaves it on the table, and then goes up to her old bedroom. And while she's getting into bed, she hits her head on the little reading lamp that's over the bed, and her dad comes in with a baseball bat and his boxers, and he's ready to protect them. And she's like, "Whoa, what are you doing?" And he goes, "Well, I was gonna bash in the brains of the burglar that came to murder us." And she's like, "I left a note on the kitchen table." And he yells over to, where her mom is, "It's okay. It's our daughter. She left a note on the table. So next time, we'll just go down to the stairs, check the table, and then hope that it's not a murderer before we get back up here." She's like, "Sorry." um, the sarcasm is great. I love the dad's sarcasm. Okay. Um, sarcasm. And then I thought it was weird that she went on a weekend trip with Jesse, and I wasn't. I don't know if that should have happened. Like in real life, it's like, but Sam had given her the out. Like, you get your feelings together, understand Jesse, and see if he likes who you are, because he's been through a lot and you've been through a lot. He's probably been more. This was way more than her, but and they do so like they're broken up for this time, but it's still really weird to me. And Jesse is like trying to drive. I mean, he can drive. He's he's like, "You don't have a license to let me drive." Like, no, I can drive. And like he's kind of stick in the mud, to be honest. And they do have some moments, but because he didn't, he's in denial that she has changed. And so he doesn't ask her any questions about her food preferences or her drink preferences. I'm moving my hands down here like you can see me counting things off. Her food preferences, her drink preferences, because she, as she changed, she realized that her body changed and she no longer did dairy and she no longer did um, the sugar or something like that. Okay, hold on. Anyway, so their long weekend, they get snowed in. He tries to be like all fancy and he like takes her to a restaurant. I think they're in Maine. And it's like, it's winter, so it's not the season to go and get lobster and all of, So like the lobster ends up being teeny tiny and all of this stuff, and it wasn't very good. And then finally, he just like stands up. He's like, "We're done here," and they leave. Like he pays obviously, and he's like, "We're just gonna pick up some pizza on the way home," and she's like, "Yeah." And so while he's getting the pizza, she's thinking, well, I guess I could just scrape off the cheese, just eat the bread. That would be less. Well, I mean, and so she's like going through like how she can eat the pizza without getting the cheese, and I've had that moment because being dairy free is hard. Like after this video, I'm making us some breakfast tacos that are dairy free, and I'm gonna put them in a little bag, like wrap them and stick them in a bag for the freezer, so I have something different for breakfast. When you're dairy free, you gotta kind of make your own stuff. You can just get the freezer meals, and freezer meals are expensive. They're like $6 for little bowls. um, but he convinces her to do stuff that he doesn't do. Like, oh, we won't talk about. There are adult scenes in this book. There's talk of adult content in the book. So, if you're gonna listen to this book, maybe headphones, so your kid doesn't. Um, I was like, whoa, pause. As soon as the moment started, I was like, oh, just stop listening. um, you know, um, and after their, well, okay, so Jesse gets in trouble with the police because he's driving without a license, and he's speeding, and it's like snowy. He His whole attitude just ick. Okay, and so they have a whole like blow up scene while they're at the cabin. Okay, and it's understandable. Like, but he doesn't understand. Like, she starts crying because he doesn't know her, and she's upset because she's she's feeling sad about how Sam is handling everything. And so she's like crying, and he gets upset because she's crying about another man. And she's just like, I'm not the same Emma I was. Like, I am not your Emma. And she's trying to explain it to him. He gets really angry, and he puts on his jacket and his shoes. Like, where are you going? Because it's like snowing. It's like they're snowed in, and he goes, I'm going to the car. And so he goes out to the car, and she's watching him through the window, and he finds the big envelope that has all of the stuff that was from their life together and the letter that she wrote him before she moved on to start dating Sam. And after some time goes by, he comes out, he gets out of the car, and she's like, she runs over to the couch and she sits down like she's been there the whole time. And he's like, what's this? And she's like, a letter I wrote you. And he's like, what's this about Ruth? And so then we actually hear everything that's in that letter. And she tells him about the moment she was on the roof, you know, about trying to find him. And, everything she felt after he just died. And that she, in the letter she wrote that she will always love him, but she's changing for the better because she wants to be loved again. She wants to be happy again. And he starts to realize that she likes who she is. She likes her job. She likes her hair. Likes the she likes how she feels when she doesn't eat the dairy and the processed food. Like she likes who she is, and he does not like who she is. And so after a little bit of talking, she's like, we're different people. She's like, I've changed on the inside and some on the outside, but I've changed who I am, and you have changed too. Even if you don't want to believe it, you are physically scarred. You are missing part of your finger. That stuff will never go away. You are a different person, and I am a different person. And they have a really sweet moment where he he's like, I don't understand your way of thinking, but you're right. We are different people, and I hate your hair. And I hate that I can see your freckles. And she giggles because they never talked about that stuff before. In their 9-year relationship, they never talked about that kind of stuff. And he tells her, that if he ever comes around to her way of thinking, he'll tell her. But they agree that they're just going to be friends because that's all they can do, really, is be friends. There's no way they could be in a romantic relationship together. And it's a nice little okay. And once they're not snowed in anymore, he drops her off where her car was left at the bookstore. And I liked their party. I liked that he understood and that he wasn't going to pressure her anymore to try to get back with her and all of that stuff. Like he's like, you're not my. I was like, 3 years is a big difference. And then so she goes into the store and her parents are there and her sister's there and the girl her twin nieces are there and they're screaming and she's like, what did I just walk into? And she goes over to her parents and she's like, what happened? They bumped heads and they just had the cochlear implants and so it was loud. Um her sister was trying to calm them down and they're like, so how was the weekend? And she was like, I need to see Sam. And they're like, oh my gosh. And she's like, but I can't go see him because he told me not to come see him because he doesn't want to be given bad news. He wants to be ready. He told her that he would call her when he was ready for her answer. And Marie comes around the corner and is like, stupid. Like, that's only if you're giving him bad news. Go. And there's a moment where she starts to go and then she stops and she's like, we got to talk about this lady, the assistant manager who's quitting. And her parents like, yeah, we'll discuss that later. Just go. And like Marie kind of shares a glance with them and Emma catches it and she's like, no. I can't go until I know what that was about. And that's when Marie is like, I want the job. And then so she's like, okay. And Marie looks at her and is like, your weekend was good. Like, you're gonna tell me about it later. And then now go get Sam. And so she runs out to her car and opens the door to get in and realizes she left her food from her lunch the day that they left in the car. So it's been in there for a few days. And she's like, gross. And so she gets that out of the car and she has it airing out the car so she can go find Sam. And he pulls into the parking lot. I was like, yay! I was really excited about that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, I just told you like the whole book. I'm sorry. There's more to it. It makes more sense if you listen to it, okay? I told you things out of order. I told you, like, I do this on purpose so that if it sounds interesting, then you have to go and see how it was. Sorry. And I dabble. I dabble. But it was a really good book. And I gave it 4 stars. I There's just parts of it that I was like, eh, about, so that's why it didn't get 5 stars. And I would not have picked this book, so thank goodness for the will picker that I used when making this. Um, yeah. So if that book sounds interesting to you, you can go into the description and there's an Amazon link for that so that you don't have to go searching for it. Um, if you want to do one of my reading challenges with me, I'll leave a link for these papery parts so that you can get your copy of the list. I have one for adults, which is the 2025 Reading Challenge. It's only labeled adult because a few of these books have adult content, or they have adult language, or they have adult themes, something that might not be acceptable to read to your preteen or teen or child. Um, and then I have my 2025 preteen teen reading challenge. These are safe. I can't say for sure that these ones are like 100% safe, but if you go on Goodreads or look them up, it says that they're for middle grade, high school age. 9 and up is what I usually put on these. Um, these ones might have 1 or 2 adult words in it. Um, but the themes are usually pretty okay for preteens and teens to read. And then I have my 2025 Paper Pie Reading Challenge. These ones are safe for children. You could read these to your little kids, which is what I'm doing to my 4-year-old. Um, they're on my Paper Pie website, so you have to go and get them from there. You might be able to find some of these on Amazon, but not 100% thing. And the one, if you get them from Paper Pie, you know for sure of what you're getting. Um, I am reading the Lightning Girl by Alicia Dixon off of the Paper Pie Challenge. I just found it, so I just started reading. I am reading Honest June off of the Preteen Challenge. I have the book over here. I have a little bit left of this book. And off of my adult reading challenge, I am listening to Nothing to See Here by Kevin Wilson on Libby. I just downloaded it, so I haven't started it yet. And I am reading Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. I am so happy I found my books that I was going to start reading. And yeah. So if you I already said if you want the list, they'll be in the description. If you want a link to go to the websites to get these books, like they're all all of these books and all the adult books and all the preteen books are already bound onto one Amazon list, and then you just click and then get the ones that you want. I'll leave that link below. It'll be under how to buy or buy list or something like that. I don't know. And then the website for this will be down there too. I think that's it. If you liked this video, give me a thumbs up. I know I talked a lot. Don't know how much I'm gonna be able to cut out of this video. I don't want to cut out everything, but like my pauses and comment below. Are you doing these challenges? Are you doing any of these challenges? Have you read One True Loves by Tara Taylor? What's her name? Taylor Reid? Taylor Reid. I was about to say Tara Reid, and then I was like, have I said Taylor the whole time? And it's actually, no, it's Taylor. Okay. Been a few weeks. Okay, guys. My brain is on work mode. I don't know. If so, tell me, did you like this book? What was your favorite part? Again, I think my favorite part of the whole book was Werewolf got her. I laughed out loud. Like if I was listening to this book in public, people would have been like, subscribe. If you're not sure if you want to subscribe, my face will pop up in a circle down here, and it'll take you to my channel, and you can go and see my other videos. And if you like my other videos, you can subscribe. I do a lot of book videos. This month has been a light video month because I'm in the process of moving into our new place. Eventually, these boxes will not be here, and then my mom is giving us a shelf to put back there. There. Being off, like, I'm opposite the camera of where I am, so going like this is hard. Because I would just go like that. Looking at it, I can do it, but if I'm looking at my screen, I'm like, it's okay. Share this video because sharing is caring, and yeah, someone else might want to do this reading challenge with me. So let me know what your thoughts are. I'm gonna go finish my coffee and finish making my taco for Reid breakfast tacos for the freezer and unpack some more boxes. This all is gonna be changing. I just haven't gotten all the books out yet, so there's another box or two in the garage. Not too much stuff. Okay, well, I'll see you later. Bye.